Welcome back to the channel, guys. So let me bring you guys up to speed with what has been going on over here for the last couple of weeks. All right, so last couple of weeks lots has happened, but in this video I'll just cover the updates on Judas, the E30. Let me show you guys what we've been up to. So those of you who know, this one is my 1986 BMW E30 325e, and it was originally SR20 DE powered. So I've already pulled out the engine from this. The gearbox is somewhere over there, and the reason for pulling out the engine is because it is actually getting an engine swap. So those of you who have known, this car has been running an SR20 DET engine for the better part of the 2.5 or 3 years I've owned it. But now I've come to the point where I'm gonna put something bigger and better into the reason for that is, well, first I need to tell you what it's gonna be. So it's gonna get a 2JZ engine. It's actually going to be a 2JZ GE, so that's the NA engine, non-VVTi, so the one with the better rods, better bottom end anyways. The reason for that is I have always wanted a bigger displacement engine, since it's easier to run them on pump gas and make more power without having the limitations of a smaller displacement engine. The torque is good, and the Toyota reliability and aftermarket support for the 2J is beautiful. All right, so this one is actually getting, I'll show you the engine in a bit, but it's going to be a 2JZ GE engine, and it's going to be mated to a factory Toyota A340 trans. But I am going to be beefing up that trans, so I'll bring you guys along for the ride, because stock they're not that strong, but I've always wanted an automatic trans, and this car is my dream car build, so I am going to give it the stuff that I've always been dreaming about. So automatics are better. All right, so I have been struggling with Judas and its gearbox issues for the better part of the year, for those of you who have been following along. So I struggled with busted second gear synchro, and the car would not get second gear. Then I had clutch issues, not clutch master issues, clutch master issues, sorry, for a few months, battling that, redesigning stuff, and that's been a pain for the most part. So now I am actually in the process of taking out all of this, and I'll show you guys the transmission first. Transmission and engine. So this is the engine. It's a low mileage 2J engine. Still have to do some work on it, so just need to make some time. I'm gonna reseal it, so cam seals, crank seals, timing belt, whatnot, pin the block and the valve cover, and custom intake. It's probably gonna be run NA initially, make sure everything is working good, and then it's obviously gonna get turbocharged. So that is the plan for it. And here is the trans that's going on it. So it's the big boy J3 bell housing A340. So this one is actually from an Aristo, so it's the newer one. So same internals as the Supra trans, but it has a couple differences, subtle differences, which we won't cover in this video. And over there is other parts that I have for the SR and the 2J. So again, torque converter here, oil pan and whatnot. So this one is going to go into the car. I still have to get this engine bay ready for the 2J, and I'll show you why. This is the what do I call it, adapter mount brackets that previous owner made. Basically just some big beefy pieces of metal that he welded in place so that he can bolt the SR20 mount brackets onto, well, SR20 mounts as well onto this chassis. So I have to cut out all of this. Need a sawzall for it, but we have to cut out all of this, and gonna get some mount brackets, and I need to make a custom transmission mount bracket. So But again, all of this is going to be done over the next couple of weeks. We'll bring you guys along for the ride. And the last thing I need to touch on is I'm really thinking of making in this whole build series. I usually don't like the whole build series idea, part 1, part 2, part 200 kind of thing, but what I want to do is I do also have the factory harness for the Supra. The engine came out of fresh harness because the engine was still fresh, and I am thinking of using the factory ECU and using that and just fitting in a standalone ECU, a Speedway standalone ECU board in there. So it's essentially going to look like the factory Toyota ECU, but with Speedway internals inside. So it's going to be a full standalone that plugs right into the factory harness and works. The car is going to get that initially. Like I said, the car is going to be run NA for a short period of time, make sure everything is working good, and then ultimately it's going to get a Link G4 ECU. You may ask why, because the Link has a few features that the Speedway currently does not have, and features that I actually want on my dream car. So it's going to get that plug and play ECU. I think that's going to be a pretty good ECU. I may consider making it for anyone who's interested, since there are no real affordable plug and play ECUs for the Supras and whatnot. It is going to be a manual only ECU. Now that brings up another topic of my transmission. The transmission, I'm going to do some fun stuff with it. I'm not going to spill the beans just now, but I'm going to do some fun stuff with it. So you guys, hopefully the wind is not making any noise. You guys will see some fun stuff. So I was saying the transmission stuff is going to be a little bit of a secret for now until we actually get to it. So you're just going to have to watch the next couple of videos to figure out what it's going to be. But this plug and play ECU is essentially going to be manual only. For now, it can work with auto, but we'll discuss why and when I will say it can work with the auto. So plug and play Speedway ECU for manual Supras or any 2J powered cars for that matter. So that's essentially it. So I have a lot of work ahead of me. I don't like giving a time frame, because every time I give a time frame, it takes 2 or 3 times that time frame I initially say. So I have lots of cleaning up to do, paint the bay, do all of this, redo a lot of the line stuff that I've wanted to do for the last 2 or so years. So we're gonna start from scratch with this one. So SR is out, 2J is in, and I'll catch you guys later.